A number of you have asked questions about the judiciary hearings next week. The Judiciary Committee will hear from Solicitor General Kagan next week for a confirmation hearing to be an Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Solicitor General Kagan is no stranger to excellence. It's her legal acumen and record that helped her rise from beginning as a visiting professor at Harvard to become the first woman as dean in the school's 193-year history. Last year, she broke another glass ceiling. She became the first woman to be confirmed as Solicitor General of the United States, the nation's top lawyer, sometimes called the 10th Justice. Now, in the wake of many narrow decisions by a conservative, activist majority in the Supreme Court, we've seen renewed attention to what the court does, how it affects hardworking Americans. There can be no doubt about the real-world impact of these decisions, especially in the pocketbooks of hardworking men and women. We saw another troubling example in the narrow 5-4 decision handed down earlier this week in a case called Rent-A-Center versus Jackson, in which a conservative activist in the majority once again ruled in favor of big business at the expense of hardworking Americans. And just as it was in the wake of the Ledbetter case, it's going to be up to Congress to correct the error, undo the damage it's done to millions of Americans who have no choice but to sign unfair agreements in order to get a job to put food on the table for their families. Efforts are already underway in Congress to reverse the court's wrong-headed decisions in Gross and Exxon, of course, Citizens United. The Solicitor General is familiar with these decisions. She is ready to meet the challenges awaiting the court in coming years. I've spoken with her. She's ready to answer questions. The National Archives, the Obama administration, President Clinton have made every effort to provide an unprecedented volume of material to the public from every chapter of her professional life. They've given out far more details than any Republican administration ever did for one of their nominees. And I think here's a woman who understands the Constitution, understands the law, understands the effect of their decisions on ordinary, hardworking Americans, and I predict she will be confirmed. You know, Judge Bork is an interesting person. I was here for the hearing on Judge Bork. The majority of people on that committee were going to vote for him before the hearing started. His confirmation conversion during the hearing changed the minds of a majority of people on that committee and a majority of the members of the Senate. And as a result, he was not confirmed. We see a lot of people putting up red herrings and grasping at straws. I think you're going to find very strong support from other living solicitors general, either from the Republican administrations or Democratic administrations for. I've never seen such an effort to grasp at straws to defeat somebody, and after a while, it starts to tell you there is nothing there. There's no there there. The fact is, far more material has been provided by the administration, the archives, the Clinton Library for her than ever were for example, Chief Justice Roberts. Certainly the amount of material provided for Chief Justice Roberts was perfectly satisfactory for every single Republican. In fact, there were no, if it was okay for him, why shouldn't it be okay for her, especially when far more material is provided for her than were provided for him? We're not going to have a double standard here. You know, you asked a question I ask myself all the time. And I don't know. You can't ask how they're going to rule an upcoming case because they have a perfectly good reason not to answer. You just have to make up your mind. You make up your mind based on the person. You make up your mind based on what they've done, who they are, what they've said in the past. And it is partly a leap of faith. It isn't everybody. I voted for Justice John Paul Stevens. Justice Stevens was nominated by a conservative Republican president. He was seen as a conservative nominee for the courts. 2.5 weeks after he was nominated, he was confirmed by an overwhelmingly Democratic Senate. And we made up our minds that he should be on there. I supported Justice Souter, and I had a liberal group picket outside my office saying if I voted for Justice Souter, they'd make sure I was never reelected in the Senate. What I've done is I did vote for him. I was reelected. What I tell people, don't pay any attention to the special interest groups of either the right or the left. We have only 100 people in this country that can decide how to vote. Saying in for 300 million Americans, it's 100 members of the Senate. Make up your mind. We'll have fair hearings. We'll have full hearings. If senators can't make up their mind whether this is somebody they want to be a Supreme Court justice after these hearings, then I don't know what else you can do.